Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on All India Radio. This is Prashant Kumar Sinha, and with me is Manoj Singh Rana, bringing glimpses of major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment, and more. The headlines. Global Terror Financing Watchdog FATF retains Pakistan on its grey list. India and China agreed to find an early resolution to the remaining issues along the LAC in eastern Ladakh. India's health ministry says there is continuous decline in daily cases of COVID-19. National recovery rate improves to 96.7%. Government of India says Delta Plus variant of coronavirus found in 10 states. Situation is being closely monitored. US President Joe Biden kickstarts nationwide canvassing event to encourage people to get vaccinated. United Nations appeals for lasting ceasefire and more humanitarian deliveries as tense ceasefire comes under strain in Gaza. And in Copa America football, Uruguay beat Bolivia and Paraguay beat Chile in their group stage matches. As the nation gears up for the free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years of age, we advise our listeners to get vaccinated. We also advise our listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow the 4 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene, and get vaccinated. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact National Helpline numbers 011 2397 8046 and 1075. Now the news in detail. The Financial Action Task Force FATF has retained Pakistan on its grey list in the virtual session in Paris that started on the 21st of June and concluded on Friday. The Global Terror Financing Watchdog reviewed the Asia Pacific Group's report on Pakistan's compliance with its prescribed action items. The FATF has recommended a list of measures for Pakistan to stop money laundering and terror financing in the nation. The decision means there is no respite for the nation as it looks for financial aid amid the pandemic. Pakistan was put on the FATF grey list 3 years ago and has been trying to get out of this list. The FATF's latest decision means the nation will continue to face difficulties in accessing finances in the form of investments and aid from international bodies, including the International Monetary Fund. In February, the FATF in its plenary had said that Pakistan is yet to complete its action plan to remove blocks in its fight against money laundering and terror financing. The FATF urged Islamabad to demonstrate effective implementation of targeted financial sanctions against all designated terrorists and their associates. The FATF also said that Pakistan courts must give effective, decisive and proportionate punishment to those involved in terrorism. It had said that Pakistan must have an effective system to deal with terror financing. Thursday's meet was to assess Pakistan's progress on these pointers. Earlier in June, the Asia Pacific Group APG of the Global Terror Funding Watchdog FATF retained Pakistan on the enhanced follow-up list. The APG is a regional affiliate of the FATF. The second follow-up report on mutual evaluation of Pakistan released by the APG also downgraded the country on one of the criteria. At the 22nd meeting of the Working Mechanism for Consultation and Coordination on India-China Border Affairs held on Friday, India and China have agreed on the need to find an early resolution to remaining issues along the LAC in eastern Ladakh, keeping in view the agreement reached between the foreign ministers of the two countries last year. In this regard, the two sides agreed to maintain dialogue and communication through diplomatic and military mechanisms to reach a mutually acceptable solution for complete disengagement from all friction points. The two sides also agreed that in the interim they will continue to ensure stability on the ground and prevent any untoward incident. The two countries also decided to hold the next round of senior commanders meeting at an early date to achieve the objective of complete disengagement from all friction points along the LAC in the western sector in accordance with existing bilateral agreements and protocols.
India's Health Ministry has said that continuous decline in daily cases of COVID-19 and further improvement and recovery from infection is being noticed in the country. Addressing the media in New Delhi this evening, Joint Secretary in India's Health Ministry, Love Agrawal, said that continuous decline in daily cases is being noticed since India reported a peak with nearly 4,14,000 cases on the 7th of May. He said now almost 88% decline in such cases has been seen since the highest reported peak in daily new cases. He said in the last 24 hours only 51,666 cases of corona infection were reported. Mr. Agrawal said that till the 4th of May, 531 districts in the country were reporting over 100 cases daily. Now, the number of such districts has come down to 125. He said till the 10th of May, there were over 37 lakh active cases in the country, and after continuous decline, it has now come down to 6.13 lakh, which is a decline of 83%. Mr. Agrawal said that the country is also witnessing a consistent increase in the recovery rate. He said from the 81.8% on the 3rd of May, the overall recovery rate has improved to 96.7%. Mr. Agrawal said currently 17.58 lakh tests of COVID-19 are being conducted on a daily basis as the cases are on a decline. He said in 565 districts, the case positivity rate is less than 5%. Mr. Agrawal said till 3 p.m. today, more than 31 crore 13 lakh vaccine doses have been given to the beneficiaries. Mr. Agrawal also appealed to the people not to lower their guard against the virus and follow COVID-appropriate behavior strictly. Meanwhile, National Centre for Disease Control NCDC Director Sujit Kumar Singh has informed that as of now, 48 cases of Delta Plus variant have been detected across the country. During the media briefing, Dr. Singh said that these variants were found from 45,000 samples which were sequenced. He said these variants were found in 10 states in the UT, namely Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Punjab, Gujarat, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Odisha, Rajasthan, Jammu and Kashmir and Karnataka. He said the Delta Plus variant signifies Delta variant with an additional mutation. Dr. Singh added that 8 states are important where more than 50% of the variant of concern or the Delta variant have been found. These states are Andhra Pradesh, Delhi, Haryana, Kerala, Maharashtra, Punjab, Telangana and West Bengal. He also added that the COVID variants of concern were found in 174 districts. During the briefing, ICMR Director General Dr. Balram Bhargav said that the two vaccines, Covishield and Covaxin, work against the Alpha, Beta, Gamma and Delta variants of SARS-CoV-2. He said laboratory tests are ongoing to check the vaccine's effect on the Delta Plus variant. He also informed that Delta Plus variant is present in 12 countries and 48 cases have been identified in India. But more importantly, they have been very localized and this virus has also been isolated and cultured now.
Variants of concern are 4, Alpha, Beta, Gamma and Delta, and they are due to increased transmissibility, change in virulence or disease presentation, and evading the diagnostics or drugs or the vaccines. However, variant of interest, which are several epsilons, and they are not necessarily that they will all turn into variant of concern. They are detected in multiple countries. They can be responsible some localized string of infections, and rapidity of spread is not present.
India's Minister of State for Education, Sanjay Dhotre, on Friday launched a rapid antigen test kit for COVID-19 developed by IIT Delhi. This kit is used for vitro qualitative detection of SARS-CoV-2 antigen. It is suitable for general population screening and diagnosis of COVID-19. The test is found to be suitable for early CT values with a 90% sensitivity, 100% specificity and 98.99% accuracy and is certified by the ICMR. The technology and its manufacturing are 100% indigenous. Speaking on the occasion, the minister expressed confidence that this technology will revolutionize the COVID test availability in the country. He complimented the researchers and thanked IIT Delhi. Chairman of COVID-19 Working Group of the National Technical Advisory Group on Immunization, NTAGI, Dr. Narendra Kumar Arora has said that the country will soon have the world's first DNA plasmid vaccine by Zydus Cadila, which has been made in India. The other vaccine that the government can expect soon is Biological E, a protein subunit vaccine. He said the trials of these vaccines have been quite encouraging and they are hopeful that this vaccine will be available by September of this year. The Indian mRNA vaccine, which can be stored at temperatures of 2 to 8 degrees Celsius, should also be available by September.
Japan has decided to utilize its emergency grant aid scheme to provide cold chain equipment and related assistance amounting to approximately $9.3 million to India to assist in its fight against the impact of the coronavirus disease. In a statement, the government of Japan said that the assistance will provide India with cold chain equipment, including medical equipment such as cold storage facilities, as last one-mile support to ensure vaccination in each country through the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF. Now let's take a look at the coronavirus updates from around the world. Britain has designated a further variant of the coronavirus, Lambda C.37, as a variant under investigation of VUI. In a statement, the UK government said that the decision was taken due to international expansion and several notable mutations, including L452Q and F490S. The World Health Organization, WHO, classified Lambda as a variant of interest on the 14th of June. The Lambda variant now accounts for 82% of new infections in Peru. According to reports, it also spreading rapidly in Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador and Mexico. The World Health Assembly has designated the year 2021 as the International Year of Health and Care Workers, YHCW, in appreciation and gratitude for their unwavering dedication in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. The WHO in its statement said that it is launching a year-long campaign under the theme Protect, Invest, Together. It highlights the urgent need to invest in health workers for shared dividends in health, jobs, economic opportunity and equity. The COVID-19 situation in Bangladesh continued to remain grim, with 108 deaths being reported in the country on Friday. This is the second highest daily death toll since the first corona-positive case was reported in Bangladesh in March last year. The highest number of deaths in a day was reported on April the 19th this year, with a figure of 112. The death toll has now gone up to 13,976. Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden has said that the best way to protect oneself against the virus and its variants is to be fully vaccinated. Mr. Biden kicked off a nationwide canvassing event where he said volunteers will knock on doors and talk to friends and neighbors to help finish the job of getting America vaccinated. Parts of Sydney are going into a week-long lockdown starting at midnight on Friday as authorities in the Australian city battle an outbreak of the Delta variant of the coronavirus. Israel will require its citizens to wear masks in enclosed public spaces from Friday after COVID-19 cases spiked in the highly vaccinated state. In a U-turn, the country has reversed its earlier decision to lift the mandatory masking requirement. The United States will provide Afghanistan with 3 million doses of Johnson & Johnson's vaccine to help tackle COVID-19 spread triggered by the Delta variant. White House spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre said on Thursday. The announcement came ahead of President Joe Biden's meeting with Afghanistan's leaders at the White House on Friday. This is All India Radio giving you the world news.
The centre is disseminating awareness of national helpline numbers for the benefit of citizens during the COVID-19 pandemic. The helpline number of the Health and Family Welfare Ministry is 1075. The child helpline number is 1098. For senior citizens of Delhi, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, the helpline number is 14567. The helpline number of National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, NIMHANS, for psychological support is 08046110007. Ayush COVID-19 counselling helpline number is 14443. And MyGov WhatsApp help desk number is 9013151515.
India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh on Friday hailed the Navy's proactive forward deployment during the standoff with Chinese troops last year. He said that it signalled India's intent that it was prepared for any eventuality with China. He was speaking at Kochi after reviewing the progress of work in the building of the indigenous aircraft carrier INS Vikrant. On his visit on board the indigenous aircraft carrier IAC, which is in advanced stages of construction by the Indian Navy, Mr. Singh said commissioning of indigenous aircraft carrier next year will be befitting tribute to 75 years of India's independence. He said the combat reach of the aircraft carrier will add formidable capabilities in defense of the country and help to secure India's interests in the maritime domain. Mr. Singh lauded the efforts of all naval officers involved in its construction work amidst the pandemic. The Defence Minister said 42 warships have been built indigenously, which is a testament of the country's advancement in science and technology. Meanwhile, the two-day integrated bilateral exercise between Indian and US forces in the Indian Ocean region concluded on Thursday. The Indian Navy, along with the Indian Air Force, participated with US Navy Carrier Strike Group in the exercise. In a statement, the Defence Ministry said that the exercise has been a key enabler in building interoperability and strengthening the defence coordination between the two nations and witnessed high-tempo naval operations at sea. It added that the exercise has been another milestone in strengthening cooperation between the two countries and reinforcing the shared values as partner militaries in ensuring freedom of seas and commitment to an open, inclusive Indo-Pacific and the rules-based international order.
The United Nations is pushing for a lasting ceasefire and more humanitarian deliveries in Gaza. The UN envoy in the region told the Security Council on Thursday that the cessation of hostilities negotiated last month between Israel and Hamas, which controls the Gaza Strip, remains very fragile. On the 20th of May, a ceasefire was declared after 11 days of rocket and air attacks across the border area between Gaza and southern Israel, leaving more than 240 reportedly dead. The majority on the Palestinian side, with thousands injured. The special coordinator echoed the significant risks of a renewed escalation and highlighted the urgent need to re-establish a political horizon to restore hope to both Palestinians and Israelis. Meanwhile, India's Secretary West Vikas Swarup highlighted the worrying trends in Gaza that threaten the ceasefire. Speaking at the UN Security Council on Wednesday, Mr. Swarup warned of the potential restart of the cycle of violence.
The recent developments in Palestine are of concern. After a period of brief calm, tensions are rising again in Gaza. The launch of incendiary balloons from Gaza targeting civilians in Israel and the retaliatory strikes into Gaza threaten to restart the cycle of violence which caused immense suffering and resulted in deaths recently. We urge all parties to honor the ceasefire arrangement to ensure that the situation does not spiral out of control. The situation in West Bank continues to remain volatile. We are concerned at the potential for renewed violence in East Jerusalem and other parts of West Bank over the legal process that could lead to possible evictions in Sheikh Jarrah and Silwan neighborhoods in East Jerusalem. Incitement and inflammatory rhetoric, as witnessed during the recent escalation, only drives and fuels violence. We urge all parties to de-escalate the situation, refrain from acts of provocation, intimidation and incitement that exacerbate tensions. Any attempt to unilaterally change the status quo that undercuts efforts to advance a negotiated two-state solution should also be avoided.
Secretary East of India's Ministry of External Affairs, Riva Ganguly Das, attended the East Asia Summit Senior Officials meeting on Wednesday. During the meeting, Ms. Das underlined India's interest in maintaining peace and stability, freedom of navigation and overflight in the South China Sea in keeping with international law. She also conveyed that the code of conduct being negotiated should not prejudice legitimate interests of third parties and should be fully consistent with the United Nations Convention on the Laws of the Sea. On developments in Myanmar, she expressed India's support for the ASEAN process. She conveyed that as a friend and close neighbor of Myanmar, India will continue to play a constructive and meaningful role in resolving the current situation there. She also put forward India's stand on terrorism amongst other issues. In the meeting, senior officials exchanged views on the current regional and international developments, including the COVID-19 pandemic and post-pandemic recovery, South China Sea, the Korean Peninsula, developments in Myanmar and terrorism. The meeting also reviewed the status of commitments made by participating nations under the East Asia Summit framework and the progress in the implementation of the Manila Plan of Action 2018 to 2022. The U.S. Department of Defense, DoD, has focused its attention on the Indo-Pacific region in its latest budget. In a statement, the DoD said that $5 billion of the $715 billion fiscal year 2022 budget request will go to the Pacific Deterrence Initiative. The initiative seeks to answer threats from China and to maintain U.S. competitive advantages in the Indo-Pacific region.
The United States has appointed Ms. Jessica Stern as the U.S. Special Envoy to advance the human rights of LGBTQI+ persons at the Department of State. In a statement from the White House, U.S. President Joe Biden made the announcement in the White House for the Pride Month. The statement said that the post is critical to ensuring that U.S. diplomacy and foreign assistance promote and protect the human rights of LGBTQI+ persons around the world. It added that the Special Envoy will play a vital role in leading implementation of the Presidential Memorandum on advancing the human rights of LGBTQI+ persons around the world. UK's Competition and Markets Authority, or CMA, has opened a formal probe into Amazon and Google over concerns that they have not been doing enough to combat fake reviews on their sites. The UK government said that the CMA will gather further information to determine whether the two firms may have broken consumer law by taking insufficient action to protect shoppers from fake reviews. The statement added that the CMA is also concerned that Amazon systems have been failing adequately to prevent and deter some sellers from manipulating product listings. It said that fake and misleading reviews have the potential to impact on businesses' star ratings and how prominently companies and products are displayed to consumers, changing their whole shopping experience. On Tuesday, the EU had launched an antitrust probe against Google. In a statement, the EU said that the probe was over concerns that it is forcing out rivals in the lucrative online advertising market. It said that the investigation will assess whether Google has violated EU competition rules by favoring its own online display advertising technology services.
Communications and IT Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad has said that Twitter denied him access to his account for almost an hour today on the alleged violation of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act of the USA. In a series of tweets, Mr. Prasad condemned Twitter's actions, terming them as agenda-driven and arbitrary and contrary to Twitter's claims as the harbinger of free speech. He reasserted that Twitter will have to abide by the new IT rules fully, and there won't be any compromise on that. The Digital Millennium Copyright Act, DMCA, is a legislation enacted under the Clinton administration in 1998. The legislation was brought in furtherance of the U.S. commitment to the two World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, treaties. And now a report from the business world.
Sensex at the Bombay Stock Exchange gained 226 points, or 0.43% to close at 52,925. Nifty at the National Stock Exchange also added 70 points, or 0.44% to end at 15,860. In the global equity markets, Asian shares rose, tracking overnight gains in the U.S. stock market. Hong Kong's Hang Seng surged 1.4% and China's Shanghai Composite Index ended 1.2% up. Japan's Nikkei 225 gained 0.7%. And South Korea's Kospi added 0.5%. Singapore's Straits Times Index added marginally by 0.1%. European shares were mixed and trading in a narrow range in intraday trade. Crude oil prices fell but remain on track for a fifth consecutive weekly gain. In intraday trade, Brent crude prices were trading around $75.50 per barrel. Back home, gold prices gained 170 rupees at the multi-commodity exchange for August contracts amid gains in gold prices in the international markets. Gold was trading at 47,040 rupees per 10 grams. Silver prices also climbed 530 rupees to trade around 68,260 rupees per kilogram for July contracts when reports last came in. And the rupee weakened marginally by 2 paise to close at 74 rupees and 19 paise against the US dollar. Arjun Chaudhary for World News, All India Radio.
Moving on to sports, in Copa America football, Miguel Almiron scored one goal and set up another as Paraguay secured a berth in the knockout phase with a 2-0 win over Chile in Brasilia. Paraguay are now second in the 5-team Group A standings, having taken 6 points from 3 games. Chile, who were already guaranteed a spot in the last 8 before the match, are third with 5 points. In Cuiabá, Edinson Cavani scored his first international goal since November as Uruguay booked a place in the last 8 with a 2-0 victory over Bolivia. In the women's 10-meter air pistol event, both Yashaswini Singh Deshwal and Manu Bhaker entered the final but finished 8th and 7th respectively.
With 29 days remaining for the start of the Tokyo Olympics, All India Radio brings a special series on India's medal prospects at the sporting extravaganza. Today we'll talk about India's prospect at the women's weightlifting event, Saikom Mirabai Chanu.
The 26-year-old Manipuri is India's only contender for the weightlifting event at the Tokyo Olympics. Ranked number 2 in the world, former world champion Mirabai Chanu is hailed as a favorite for getting a medal in the 49-kilogram category. Mirabai's journey to the top of the international podium has been remarkable and is a testimony to her struggle and dedication.
भारतवासियों ने मेरे ऊपर होप किया है कि एक मेडल लेके आएगी.
At the young age of 20, Mirabai made her presence felt at the international stage with a silver medal at the 2014 Commonwealth Games held in Scotland. She broke the Commonwealth record with her performance at the event. She continued a record-breaking spree during the qualification for the Rio 2016 Olympics, where she broke 7-time world champion Kunjarani Devi's 12-year national record. A gold medal at the International Weightlifting Championship held in the United States remains Mirabai's greatest sporting achievement. For a gold medal winning performance at the 2018 Commonwealth Games, she was awarded the Padma Shri by Manipur's Chief Minister, following which she was awarded India's greatest sporting honor, the Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna, in the same year.
मेरी तरफ से मैं पूरा मेहनत और कोशिश करके मैं बेस्ट परफॉर्मेंस दूंगी टोक्यो ओलंपिक में.
Mirabai Chanu's record streak suggests that she has the eyes firmly set on the goal at the Tokyo Olympics. Sports Desk, AIR News.
Now let us take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. The Globe and Mail reports that Iran calls Canada's report on downing of Ukrainian passenger plane highly politicized, illegal. The paper also writes that Spanish judge orders an autopsy for antivirus software creator John McAfee. Washington Post reports that Derek Chauvin will be sentenced for the murder of George Floyd on Friday. Washington Post also reports that Merkel warns Europe is on thin ice as concerns about Delta variant grow. Moscow Times writes that Russia investigating reports of Delta plus variant emergency watchdog. Financial Times reports that Spain rejects Merkel's bid to impose EU-wide quarantine for UK visitors.
AIR Leh celebrates its Golden Jubilee today. It was on this day in 1971 that AIR Leh started its service. A 2-term Member of Parliament for Ladakh, Kushok Bakula Rinpoche, was instrumental in the establishment of AIR Leh Station in 1971. It was foresightedness and continuous persuasion of father of modern Ladakh that helped landlocked Ladakh to connect with the rest of the world with radio services. A quick look at the headlines once again. Global terror financing watchdog FATF retains Pakistan on its grey list. India and China agreed to find an early resolution to remaining issues along the LAC in eastern Ladakh. India's health ministry says there is continuous decline in daily cases of COVID-19. National recovery rate improves to 96.7%. Government of India says Delta plus variant of coronavirus found in 10 states, situation being closely monitored. US President Joe Biden kickstarts nationwide canvassing event to encourage people to get vaccinated. United Nations appeals for lasting ceasefire and more humanitarian deliveries as tense ceasefire comes under strain in Gaza. And in Copa America football, Uruguay beat Bolivia and Paraguay beat Chile in their group stage matches. India is celebrating the 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. Before we end, let's listen to his favorite bhajan Vaishnavajan by artists from Slovenia. And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of the World News.